Today we are, so let me show what we're going to be doing on and working on, what I am looking to do. So I have this file in my D drive underneath my Python project, Excel splitting. I have this spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet has all these different tabs, right? And I created all these tabs. And I'm going to show you how we actually did all this. We'll delete the sheets and save it. So we actually have one tab here right now. You can't see it because my camera's blocking it. But right now, currently, we have one tab, and that one tab is just all my games on Steam. And I roughly just categorized them as the type of games. Like, I probably could have done a better job of actually categorizing my games, but it's just for a premise of learning to code. And manipulating a spreadsheet using pandas and Python, which I never knew could get along. So the whole premise is now is to take all of these different categories, and I want to put them into different tabs. Just so then I can have technically different tables that I can later manipulate on, instead of having everything here and then just filtering out by here. Through here. So we can use Python, and I developed some code already. It's very rough code that I have developed here. And I thought I'm trying to get this now into a for loop, but I'll explain this a little bit. So right now I've imported pandas. And then from the OpenPyXL module, I'm importing the load workbook. And the reason I'm using that is because when I'm filtering my workbook, and then I'm loading the workbook, and I'm writing to the workbook, I'm not deleting any data. I'm actually maintaining my original tabs. I don't want my other tabs to be lost. I want to keep my master. And just doing some research, I found that loading it through OpenPyXL first, and then writing it using pandas is just a better way of doing it. So that's what I've done so far, and then I'm filtering out everything, and then I filter everything out. So that's the whole premise of this right now. But now the way I wanted to make this work, and what I'm trying to learn, is to make this into a for loop. I want to make a for loop for this, because writing this code so much over and over and over again, and I used defining a function for myself today. Defining like so many different functions, like here, like defining a function for called RPG games, was just an easy way for me to just kind of keep everything organized. I was just putting this mock code together to make things work. I know this is probably like bad practice, but I couldn't figure out how to do a for loop. So I'll run this code to show you what it does really quick. I'm gonna close out of this this workbook. That's gonna take all my categories and then make different tabs for them. I want everything on a different tab. Yes, Dave. So here's the Excel spreadsheet that's going to open up. It's going to filter based on if the column game type is equal to third person. It's going to load the book, write to the book. Excuse me. This is going to load that. This is going to now manipulate this up here, the book that we opened up, and then it will filter everything. It would filter and take that filtered Excel spreadsheet that we made up here, we called up here, that we signed here, and then write a new tab called third person games, and then save it and then close it. And then I call the function down here. And I did that for every single one. So let's run this. So it's going to show what it's actually doing. Should take a few seconds to run it. It worked. Okay. I was like, well, this should work in theory. So here we go. This is now edited. And if we look, now we have our master sheet, right? We have our master sheet, and now we have a tab for each game type. Third-person shooters, action games. Then we have one specifically for adventure and action RPG games and battle royale, beat 'em up, card games, catch 'em all, community, FPS, and it's going down the line for all the different categories we have. So it works, and that's great. And here's all. Here you go. Here's all the categories that I split up by. I thought this was really cool. So, but the problem is with the code is this. I have, how many lines of code do I have? I have 283 lines of code, which is just a little ridiculous to make all that happen. So the next thing to try to do is turn this into a for loop and loop through all the different categories I have, and for each of the categories I have, make a new tab in the same workbook. I just don't know how to make that happen. And I was trying to work on that the other day. Like, so I was trying to, and I live on Stack Overflow because that's where that's where all the developers go these days. I watch people develop at work, and they're like, I'm gonna check Stack Overflow, and then they copy and paste code, and they just change it to their needs. I'm like, that's great development. I mean, there are probably some people who think out, can do things outside the box and whatnot. So I fixed all the channel points, by the way. So channel points. That was weird. I thought I saw my camera move with me. Interesting. Okay. So I fixed all my channel points. So all the channel points should now work on this stream and my streaming, this source and the streaming source. So that's all been fixed. I migrated everything over to StreamerBot. So that's exciting. So if something doesn't work while you're doing it, I didn't test them all, but they're all linked to everything. But I think Des, you pushed Haya and it was working. So anyway, back to this. So my job here to fix this is to take for game types, right? For game types, and it's pulling this right here. So that's good. So it's just, here's the thing, because if I could do in games types, if it'd be almost the same type of code, wouldn't it? Filtered. XLS is assigned to XLS. And then this is calling the actual column, and it's equals person shooter. So there's got to be a different way of doing this because I'm just doing the same thing over again. So instead of defining the function, so we're saying if the filtered XLS spreadsheet in XLSS game type is assigned to third-person shooter, expected a quote. Or could I do? I wonder if I could do. What if I call this in? Or if I don't think I had to do a or if. I don't think I had to do a or if either. What do you think? This is where I'm getting confused. Like I know how to do all these statements. It's just figuring out the damn logic for it all now. Okay. The keyboard was stopped working for a second there. All right, so this is set up right. My job here I'm trying to do right now is I want to take all this code that's right here. It's 239 lines of code and make it into a easy for loop. So I'll have to list it out. I mean, I still would like to make my own function. Right now, it's going to make a for loop. I will read through this file. And if game types are equal to certain things, do I have to write out every single one? Because how would the program know? I mean, I think I do need to write out every single one, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks for that lyric, dude. Oh, I forgot. I got rid of that command. I forgot to put it in StreamerBot. I'll add it back. But I added these in, and these should work. Let's see. Shout out Des. I don't think there's any way of doing this. Really thinking about it. Even if I was to make this a for loop chat. So if there's any like Python guru or coding gurus out there that are watching, if I want to make this do a for loop. Huh. If I do, wait, maybe I could write this down though, because if game types. What that means. If game types is equal to then it should just be able to do this, right? Comment that all out. I'm not gonna need that. Right? So I'm saying for game types, if the game types is equal to third person shooter, load the book, write the book here. It wouldn't be filtered XLS, it'd be game types to Excel writer sheet name equals third person. And I'd make a new sheet. Write, save, close. See if that works. Let's just delete everything. Make it easier. Close it out so it won't be exclusive. All right. So now if I take this code and run, is that going to do what I want it to do? Possibly. It's like I updated it. Nope. That's interesting. Because it doesn't know what column to look at. That's the problem. So the difference with this code here, that's what's happening. So this code here is saying, so I would still need this code. I would still need game types and filter on this. And then it should be able to write what I want it to write. But the problem is, it's still this for loop is still going to be massive. So I'm just trying to reduce these lines of code. I have 297 lines, or actually 293. I actually put like in 4 more spaces below. But it's like 293 lines of code. I'm just trying to make this for loop work where I don't have to have 293 lines of code, where it will just read. I want to be able to read this column. And then if the column equals third person shooter, make a new sheet name third person shooter games. Or if the column equals action, then make a sheet name called action games. That's what I'm trying to make happen. And I feel like I'm running into an issue where, because I defined all these functions down here that were just kind of help me just to start understanding the code and just kind of keep my work a little organized and what I'm making, what sheet I was actually making. And that's what I kind of did as like a category, using the defining my own functions. I was trying to keep everything just clean and organized. I was writing this code so it's not big one absolute block of text. So it just kind of defined everything nicely for me, so I can then try to create this for loop. I don't know if anyone has done this before with pandas or has a tip, because I've scoured all over. I mean, I have to scour maybe a little bit more, and I was looking for certain things and how to do this. And right now, this is the only way I know how to doing it. But I feel like I'm still writing the same code as this, and only if instead of defining the function and just telling it to do step by step, I'm saying for game types in the Excel spreadsheet, if the game types is equal to third person shooter, which I don't think I need that then. Wait, can I use it up here though? Like, couldn't I do use call game, right? And just comment that out. And then it should be able to just, and then it's looking at, this use column. And if I'm doing a for loop on this, because it knows to look at, it knows that it knows that the game types is looking at this, spreadsheet. And now if I'm assigning the column already, I'm technically filtering it here based on the game type column, and then it should do everything else. Oh, let's see. I could be wrong. I've noticed with learning is fun. Future. Define columns without bounds indices is deprecated and will raise a parse error in future versions. Oh, so it didn't work? I'm not sure what this means. Without bounds of indices, and let's look that up. Future warning. Let's GTS that error message. Google that shit. So so instead of calling it out, should I just do it this way? Like column 1, 2, 3, 4. Use columns. I guess I should use that. Should raise value since there is a no column. Is that what it means? Instead of actually calling out the name, use like the index for it. So what is that number of the index then? It'd be what? 2, right? Or 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Use columns 3. Do I need to have that in parentheses? No, but I should put it into a list though, right? There we go. But it's not. I'm surprised it's not going to write to it because it's open. I don't think it's going to work though. Still didn't work. If I say 4, I bet you 0, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it is the, yeah. Didn't think that was going to work. So it's really the third one. 0, 1, 2, 3. What if I do? Let's just do that. Oh, I keep closing that. Nope, it's not 2 because this is 0, 1, 2. So it has to be 3. That didn't work either. What do you think? I'm a little baffled here, chat. So let's see if we can do some Googling here to make this work, because I thought I had it and I guess I don't have it. Close it out. So we'll do a pandas for loop. Oh, for loop filter. There you go. Pandas Excel. You guys see that? No, you can't because my big head's in the way. Pandas Excel for loop filter. Import XLRD sheet data workbook xrd.open workbook path input file workbook sheet index by 0. So it's a sheet. That's the first sheet. And integer is starting at 0 for I in range. The rows. If I is not equal to the row values, find the specific date and then increase the integer by 1. Anything else, append the sheet by whatever that integer is. Google's results are pretty poor and gave all the same result. What you need was open PLXL. So he's inputting Panda. This is not what I want, though, I don't think. No. Because it looks like he's filtering to another spreadsheet. That's not what I want to do. Iterate through multiple sheets in a file and filter all the data after a value and row, append all the sheets. BF head. Just the start, finish, the sheets. All the data in the Excel file looks like below. Start, finish. Okay. I want to read the first row and all the rows at the finish in the first column. I've written my script that is something like this. Read. The output looks like below. The start and finish are gone. My question is, how can we get through all the sheets in a similar way and append them into one data frame? Well, you have to concatenate into one data frame, wouldn't you? Yeah, concatenate. So you're making an empty list. The workbook sheets Excel file is all the Excel file and the dot sheet names. This is an empty list for ST and for string, I guess, and sheet names. The data frame is going to read the Excel again. It's going to not I want either. In Pandas, you'll find that you can read a specific sheet of the workbook. All right. Which I don't really need to do because I'm very confused on how to make this work. Looping through a workbook with multiple sheets and extracting, looping through multiple sheets. Pandas, Excel, for loop filter to, so we can start here. Import. We're going to read this file. Sheet names are this. Get data frame from the dictionary. Not dictionary, it's a list. Printed data frames. The technology sheet is converted to data frames as follows. Converted to NaN on data frame, and the schedule converted to data frame as follows. Conclusion. What I'm trying to do, possible? Has to be possible. What does the Pandas documentation say? So multi-index, intro to data structures, essentially basic functional IO input output tools, indexing, working with text data. I want to do indexing, selecting data. Different choices for indexing, IO tools. Essentially basic functionality. It doesn't tell you how to read those CSV files. For common indexing locations and names. So yeah, so it wants you to use these. SQL, you can read pretty much anything on Microsoft Excel. Let's see what this says. Oops. Oh, I hate when it does that. Reading Excel's files. With PD. Yeah, I should be using the actual. I should actually be using the with. It'd be better for opening and closing and handling the actual file. Index column, none. NA values is none. So, sheet 1, sheet 2. Specifying sheets. Reading a multi-index. Excel can read multi-index. I don't have a multi-index, but it's good to know. Parsing specific columns. It is often the case as users will insert columns with temporary computations in Excel, and you may not want to read in those columns. Read Excel takes use columns keyword to let you specify a subset of columns to parse, right? So you can specify a comma delimited set of Excel columns and ranges as a string. Then it's assumed to be the file comma indices to the parse. Element order is ignored. So okay. So it can be 1 is the same as 1, 0. Okay. If use columns as lists of strings, it is assumed that the string corresponds to a column name provided either by the user in names or referred to the element order. So, but it doesn't want you doing that because it says something about it being like outdated. All right, so I'm using the use columns right. I'm using this right. That's the column number I want. It's just all this. I'll get rid of this. Did I try doing that? Oh, did it update? Oh, it did update. It just seems odd. If I got rid of this and we actually call it the column, would that matter? It's really our internal variable, right? gonna update it. So that this part doesn't work here. Well, what if I got rid of this? Just drop this filter. Because we're saying if the game type is equal to this, and you're using this column, I mean, I should work technically, right? Technically work, right? Feed open, save this, out, run it. Update it. It touched it, but it didn't do anything. So I guess it opened it up, saved it, but it didn't write a new sheet to it because it didn't know how to filter out what I'm trying to ask it to do. Then this will work. We run this. That does what it has to do. We come back here. It just updated. Oh wait, now it's not updating the sheet. Didn't this work before? Oh, I got rid of this actually. That's why it worked. The if statement's throwing it off. There's our line again. Oh, but you know what? You know what I just noticed? It didn't bring everything else in. Watch this. If we just comment this out, then just undo this one, this line of code. Oh, you know why? I know why. Because we limited it down to just the third column. So we just can't limit it down to the third column. I see what happened. So we, all right, that's learning experience. So we said in our reading of our Excel file to only use the column called game type, which is what we did. So then we turned around and said, well, for every type for the game type in the Excel spreadsheet, if the game type is equal to third person, load the workbook, write the workbook, write to the open workbook, then write a new sheet named third person shooter, but it only used the third column. It didn't use anything else. So let's close this. Let's get rid of this. Purge this column. Save the file. Close out of the file. And run this again. Oops. And do. Oh, that I hit it multiple times. So this time it brought in everything because we told it we didn't give it a specific range of columns to use. We just left the default and we're telling it to bring in every single column. But now I think what happened here is, or is that because I added that because I pressed it too many times? Delete all these. Save that. Close this. Let's just run this again. I want to see if this is. Oops, close up the hole. Yeah, look at that. It's saying 1, 2, 3, 4. It's making 4. That foil screwing things up. I don't know. Thank you for that lurk, and babe. Well, can't instead of saying that, can't I say in XLS, if XLS is equal to third person, and then the game type should be filtered? Would that work better? Now we're I don't know. Let's just see. I'm just trying different things here. No, I wouldn't know to do that. The truth value of a data frame is ambiguous. Use a empty. Yeah, I wouldn't take that right here. I knew it was gonna be a problem. Can I just do that? Like, I just don't understand. All right, do some more research. Cell loop filter column. So let's see. Loop through Excel sheets and append a data frame. Loop through sheets using to loop through multiple worksheets to return. Creating. Oh, here we go. Creating multiple. I have a data frame. I need to save same group of different data into different sheets on the exchange. So I have the following data set. Um, yeah, I never thought four distinct. So I could say uniques is your data frame district and use a unique method. And then for the district and uniques, the data frame district assign equals district to the Excel writer. But then wouldn't that mean I would have to make a actually it's less code. Ooh, brisket, that sounds delicious. You get best. I hope you can send them over this way. No worries, man. I think I found my answer. And I see what you're doing here. So hold on. So how many unique thingies do I have in here? All good, man. What am I doing? Really? Thing compare by row, list range. I want to export to a new sheet. Are we just keeping the same sheet? There is 25. I have 25 of these. I think we just found their answer. Yeah, I think we just found their answer. And I think we're right. Those teams that Twitch is doing a deep dive investigation into gambling on here, man. That's good to hear. I don't think there should be gambling on here. I think it's silly. They have specific websites for that, and the fact that this dude like swindled so many people. Coffee is the life and blood of any gamer and programmer. I use that term loosely for myself because I are a beginner. All right, so I think I figured this out, guys. I think with a little bit of help of Stack Overflow, we can write this. So we have to use a unique method. So I'm still going to do all this. All right, so we're going to take you, move you down there. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to take all this, put this up here, along with all this. Then yeah, I don't understand why is gambling even allowed on this site. Like, it's an addiction. Gambling can be such an addiction, and it just shouldn't be allowed. I mean, I understand gaming can be addiction, but not as bad as. Maybe I don't need to do this. Let's make a copy of this first. Hold on. Before I blow out my sheet, let's make a copy of this. And we'll use the copy. And if it works. All right, so I'm going to try and just do what they did here. Move all this down here. Move you down there. Then we're going to say with. So first of all, we have to call this, we have to make this unique folder. Uniques. We have to make uniques. Uniques equals XLS dot game type dot dot All right, so uniques dot XLS dot, is he calling a specific column? We do use or comma. Use cols equals 0. Zero. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. Now, if I do this right, now if it's right, so now I should be able to say with P. So now I should be able to say, hold on, I want to make this a PD Excel writer. Oh no. Make this do oops. Now we're gonna make the now we're gonna write to this as writer for game type. What'd I do? Oh, I am trying to figure out how to take this spreadsheet. Um, I just do. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to take this spreadsheet, um, and parse through it and make different tabs for each type of game category I have here, or each type of game type. So like third person shooter should be in its own tab. Action should be in its own tab. Adventure gaming should be in its own tab. Uh, so that's what I'm trying to parse. And I have it working with this code right here, like all these lines of code. It works, but I should be able to do it the way, um, in a way without having to type 293 lines of code and try and like figure out what the heck the uniques are. Now I can say XLS, XLS dot game type. That was kind of like a rough. I'll explain it better in a second. To Excel, writer should be an index of none. Oops. Then a sheet name equals let's do game type. I don't think that's gonna do what I want to do for me. Wait, hold on. I have to put this whole path. All right, let's hit this run button. It did something. Not sure what it did, but it did something. I don't see it in here though, so I don't think it fully updated it. No, I didn't touch it. Oh, maybe it did do something. Holy shit, it worked. It worked. So we just solved having 293 lines of fucking code to take a file that had a master list of all my games with the type of game it was and made multiple different made different tabs for each type of game. That is. That was the goal, and we got it. And we got it. A little bit of research, and we figured it out. That's awesome. So the main reason I'm doing this is for work. I'm learning to learn, but I'm also trying to improve myself at work. I'm so tired of using Excel and doing like, oh, equals VLOOKUP, and then blah 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 blah, and then match it to A, and then do the range of what the hell ever. And I'm just tired of doing all that type of stuff manually. I'm tired of coming into Excel lookup and typing. I'm typing to Excel. I'm tired of typing out all these different values. I want to have a Python script where I can just come to it, load the file, and it doesn't matter how the file comes to me. I can do whatever I need to do with it. And one of the things that we seem to be getting a lot at work, is a person gives us a file that, like this, has a massive file like this, and they need to filter out types. And get all those unique values into different tabs. And normally that's just us filtering it out one at a time. Like, okay, well, let's find all the third person people. Okay, all right, we got them all. Let's take that, and now let's do a copy. And I'm pretty sure there's a formula that you could do that with, but I don't know that formula. Holy crap, over 11 ads. That's so weird. Why so many ads? I have freaking it set up based on whatever schedule it's to be. It's so obnoxious. Oh my goodness. Twitch. I am all for ads, man. I get why you need ads, but you gotta run them differently. Like, they gotta be like not disrupting the stream. Like, run them differently. Like, run them like on the bottom, on the side, and the top. Pop them up in a little window, like on my stream, but stop freaking running ads. And just like, I understand why we need ads. Ads are, I don't have a problem with ads. I get them. It's just how you use the ads. It's the execution behind the ads. It's where everyone has a problem with. And 11 ads? What? Reroll should be off for 60 minutes. It's just I don't get it. Figure out how to set that up. I'll show you. Damn, so you're getting hit with like huh. That's strange. Isn't like an ad thing I can monitor, like when things are gonna be popping and whatnot? I guess not. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone who's watching 11 worth of ads. That's crazy. I'm very sorry. All right. So let's do this one more time. Make sure it wasn't just me. We'll delete this copy. We're gonna take this, make another copy, rename it to what I had it before. All right. And then we're gonna come back here. I'm gonna run this. Come back to my file. 737. Fuck, it works. That is phenomenal, and I love it. Sorry, dude. I don't know why you got 11 ads. It should be set up. I have no idea. That's so strange. I'm very sorry. I think I understand the need for ads. It's just the execution behind Twitch's ads is what sucks. So, all right. So this did everything, but now here's the problem. So, I don't want to lose the main sheet. So, I think what needs to happen first before we even do our writing to our file, we need to open the book with um with the load the book, right? And then with the PDXL writer as writer dot book equals book, and then for game type in that should still work. So let's go back in here. We'll delete this file again. Oops, I have it open. Delete that file. Or run this mofo. I knew it was gonna freaking. Oh, right. So hold on. Because I'm trying to open the book first. So hold on, let's do this. Rename it. But I have to have that file named copy first. Because what's happening is I'm gonna read it, but then I need to open it. Oops. I need to load this workbook using NumPy. I'm gonna write to it. The writer.book is gonna write specifically to this book, and it's not, and this should not overwrite the file that I have here. I should not overwrite any of the. It should not delete any of the existing data. Nope. Excuse me. Unless I have to do it this way. Let's take this out here. Put this here and this here. I don't think it knows what to save. So if I just tab it into the width and not be in the 4. It's probably where it needs to be, right? Do you even need these? Let's get rid of these. Now has 135 kilobytes, much bigger. And it saved everything. Yes! Oh, but I have 2 things here. Well, I have 2 third-person shooters. All right, let's redo this because I guess I started doing it and then it. All right, so let's just do this one more time. Let's delete this file. Copy this one. Rename this copy again. Now I should only have master games to beat. All right. The master list. Now, load it, write to the loaded book. And then for any game type and unique values, you're going to take the XL, you're going to take the game type, which is equal to game type, write it, and the new sheet name is gonna be based on the game type that you want. Oh, this is so fucking awesome. This is gonna save me so many hours at work. You have no idea. All right, here we go. Press the button. Run it. 63 kilobytes. It's less than last time, but let's open this baby up. Oh my goodness. It has every single one. And now, oh, that's freaking so exciting. And now I can get rid of all this code. There we go. And now I can go back to my normal file, not worry about breaking it. Oh man, this was a good. This was a great learning experience. I am so excited. I guess I can't sign it. All right, so we'll just leave that like that. All right, so now if I come to this one, nothing's there. Let's run this nonsense. Oh, I made a new one. I don't want to make a new one. So that's good to know. I can make a new one if I have to. Look at that shit. Oh, that's so cool. Now, just for shits and giggles, then we'll come to table array, do all that. 1 0. Oh wait, hold on, I did that wrong. Amazing. And it has all the right data there. That's dope. That is going to save us hours at work. Like literally hours. Uh take my lines of 293, take my 203 lines of code and turned it into 12. So that's exciting. So we originally had, let's see if I can get all that code back. Yes. So we originally literally had 293 lines of code with a and each one of those lines of code had a defined function. that define function was really just me trying to keep this massive, ridiculous line of code in order and organized for myself. That was the only reason why I used defining my own functions. So each line of code I knew that was set for third-person games, and I would call it and write it and do whatever I had to do, which is great. Now we took all that code and reduced it to 12 lines of code. We literally got rid of all of this that we do not need, these 293 lines of code, purged, and we're left with all this, which took all of the Excel spreadsheet I had, which had multiple values of different type of category, type of games. So for this one's like, alphabetical with third-person shooter, which really is an RPG, but whatever. I did rough categorizing of games. Third-person shooters and whatnot, action games. And then if you see below, it took all those this code now is looking for unique values in the game type column here. And then it's loading the workbook in OpenPyXL. And then with Pandas, it's writing to that book, but it's writing to the loaded workbook that we did, which allows us to maintain the master sheet, because before it was just deleting the master sheet. So this actually allowed us to keep the master sheet, and then it's looping through all the game type in the uniques value that we set here, or uniques variable that we set, and it's filtering out by game type, and then it's writing out and making a new sheet name equal to the game type value, and that's exactly what we got. That's phenomenal. I am very happy I was able to solve this. Thank you. A little help from Stack Overflow got us to where we need to go, but this actually worked out really nicely. This will come in handy with a lot of different things I do at home and things at work. This is really nice. I'm gonna post this to this portion of YouTube as well to hopefully help some other people that might be looking for this. This is pretty cool. I'm really excited about this. Now we expand on this. Because if you look at it, once we got everything set up and we have everything all nicely in different tabs, well, the tab's a mess. It's not formatted nicely. I can't read what it is. Expand. What's up, Stare? I can't see what the columns actually say. Everything's truncated, kind of cut off, or it's bleeding into different cells. So what I want to do is have it look like this. I want it to get formatted nicely, like make it look, sexy and pretty, like make it look like a table, like, something like that. I would like it to look like this. So that's the next thing we have to work on, is then now take this code and, well, make it look pretty. And that's what I plan on doing. So the question is, I know Pandas actually has a dictionary, where is it? How you doing, Stare? How's everything going, man? It has a area underneath writing Excel files, style and formatting. We can freeze the panes, float format. That's not what I really want. Open document, spreadsheet, binary, clipboard, pickling. Doing okay. I'm glad to hear that. Pickled file. I would like a pickle. You gonna share that pickle, Panda? Nice. Yeah, I'm tired of doing manually things in spreadsheets, so I took code that I had that was 293 long lines of code and just truncated it down to 13 lines of code. And this code will actually parse through this main spreadsheet right here with all these 4 columns, and now it will filter out based on the game type column and make specific sheets of that game type. So third-person shooter, action, adventure, ARPG. Because I'm eventually going to take this whole spreadsheet and I would like to use this for my random game generator. So when I play another game, like I have a rough one. I have a roughly built one here where I run this, and it will literally pick a game for me. But it's very rough. It's not well written or coded. It's doing some basic range pickups and whatnot. So I want to build this in a way that it will just do a lot of things, just run it better, build a user interface for it, and just have a random game picker. And it will just also be great for work. I love Python. This just saved me. But this also, what I just learned, is going to save me hours at work. I'm very excited. Like, I just got, like, seriously hours of work back. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, yeah, I'm very excited for it. I love shit like this. This is like, I was learning how to program like applications and stuff. I'm like, I really want to be a like a developer. I would like to be like, I would like to be able to do data analytics like really fast and not have to worry about butting around with like spreadsheets. Dude, Python is like my favorite language. It's just so much fun. I don't know. I understand it. I know I'm not coding like, you know, I need an if statement and then blah 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 and then all this nonsense in between it. So, and then, you know, all your open and closed parentheses. Elma said, I know print in there. Oh, it's a print statement in Python. You could do like, you know, it'd be out of the for loop, or it'd be out of print. LS. We'll write a new file. Yeah, and I'll print out your whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's print in Ruby. I don't remember using Ruby a lot, but Python's print. I think everything has a like a print. Was it C# is like write or something like that, or write to console, if I'm not mistaken. I'll do a write out to the console for you. I don't recall. It's been a while since I played with C#, but Python I've been really trying to get good at. I find it because I'm not trying to be a developer in any sense of a way. I would just really like to do data analytics. I'd like to be able to take spreadsheets and write up code because now I can just turn around and say, print I. Different variant. What's the difference between? Oh, is that print? Oh, print string, print integer. Is that what the difference is? So one to print a string, one to print an integer. Yeah, string's an integer. Oh, that's cool. It's fun. Like it's as you're learning to code and you start seeing like different languages, it's almost like learning. It's really learning a different language. So it's just the syntax is just like learning that the way that language speaks. I can't think of the word I want to use, but it's just learning, and it all starts to make sense. Like, oh, okay. As soon as you said print s press I, I'm like, oh, it's print for a string and print for an integer. Oh my god, that makes sense. So it's just I guess not the syntax. Yeah, I guess it's the syntax, but there's a word for it. Like when it's a person who speaks Spanish, but also a person who speaks Italian, you can, if you speak Spanish, you can pretty much understand Italian. But person who speaks Ecuadorian versus Mexican, they can, you know, they can still communicate. Grammar, not really grammar. Sort of grammar, but it's not. But when someone's like speaking to you, it's I can't think of the word I want to use. It completely escaped me. But that's what like it is. So, you know, if you're speaking, you know, one type of Spanish versus another Spanish, you can kind of communicate and understand what you're saying. And this all translates into everything else. Dialect, thank you, dialect. Yes, it's a dialect. And that's what kind of like programming is. As I'm learning Python, certain things are like crossing over into other languages. Like, oh, okay, well, instead of print, it's right. Well, instead of just print, it's print S or print I. And it eventually means the same thing. It's just translating it and understanding it in a different way. Like my my fiance and my sister's husband she's from Ecuador, he's from Puerto Rico, and they both speak, they both speak Spanish. There might be different types of dialect and language, but they understand each other. And that's where I'm trying to learn. And now I'm trying to understand, like, in different languages of learning coding. I'm like, oh, this says this, but this application, like print in Python, write to console in C# or print S or print I in Ruby. I'm like, oh, but it all means print. All means write something to a console. So, and that's what's happening. So I don't know, it's pretty awesome to learn. I'm really, really excited. And this was like something I wanted to get done today before we swapped over to Metal Hellslinger. So I'm really excited that we can figure this out. Like I said, the next portion of this now is to figure out formatting. I want to make this look pretty now, because that's another thing I can't stand doing. It's like, okay, I made everything, I got everything together, I split up the data. Now I have to format every single freaking cell, every single tab, sheet. I don't want to format every single sheet by hand. I want Python to take it for me, and just make everything look really pretty. Format as table and just go, hey, you know what? Now you look like this. And that's it. That's what it did for me. That's kind of like what I want to do. First column, last column, banded rows, banded columns. I don't know. Pandas Styler, SAS9. Welcome in. Pandas Styler. I'm just learning, so I'm gonna have to. There's something called a styler, yeah. I'm gonna have to. Is that a? Let me look that up. Oh, thank you. I was about to say I'm gonna look that up underneath the table visualization. Thank you, thank you. Because I cannot stand keep. That's one thing doing. I appreciate that. How's everything going, Cass? I hope you're having a great night. Method to add style. Oh, this is gonna be a good read. I'm excited. Oh, I feel so accomplished right now. Decision tree regression. Oh, look, I passed that before. I was looking at that. You can do chart visualization too. Oh man, that's gonna be dope. See, that's gonna be nice because then I don't have to make, oh my God, tables using. Oh, does it? Oh yeah, look at. Oh no, I don't really come to the site, so I'm not sure what looks different. What's off about the site? I guess like the text and whatnot. Oh yeah, look, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. All down here. Yeah, they definitely mess up something. Oh yeah, all this too. Oh, that's much easier to read. Thank you. Before editing styles, it is useful to show the styler can distinguish the display value from the actual value, and both data values and indexing or column headers to control the display value. The text is printed in each cell as a string, and we can use the .format and .format index methods to manipulate it according to a format spec string or callable that takes a single value and returns a string. It is possible to define this for the whole table or index or individual columns or multi-index levels. So I would need to know, okay, so formatting looks like it's going to be a little trickier than I thought it was going to be. Because I would probably need to know, like, I'm not sure what this is. I'll have to figure that all out. Oh. Oh, where is it? Export to latex. Ah, ha, ha. Only a subset of the style is supported. That's fine. Mainly it's just being able to. This is awesome. So how I do this? So apply style negative props equals color dot red, highlight to Excel, stylized Excel engine. Okay. Currently broken, border style, border width. That was like one of the biggest things I want. Was that broken in 15 too? This is 1.4. This is, which one is this? This is 1.5. Is this? Border style and border style left, as well as the border. Because I want to be able to do width. That's like the biggest thing. Like when you get a file and a person sends it to you and just an absolute mess. and I can't stand sitting there trying to format it myself. So I would just have to throw it through a script, and regardless of what the file has, what it looks like, I can just throw it through a Python Panda script, and it makes it look all pretty. Yeah, this is what I'm border style and the border width and the border color. Did they fix this? It does. It looks like that's working in 1.5. Background, border style. Okay, so this is the properties. Oh, sweet. Thank you so much, Cass. I really appreciate it. And now I can play around with this and learn how to export to Excel and make this look nice. I are very excited. Today was an accomplishing night for Python. But this was fun. I literally had 293 lines of code because I made a define function for each of the different things I was trying to make, all the different sheets. And I was like, there's gotta be a way to for loop this. There has to be a way to for loop this, like based on unique values. And I had to do a little digging in for Stack Overflow, and there was an answer that I was able to take and make it for my own code, and it worked. So I was very happy to know it was in the right direction. I just didn't know the syntax to make it work. And now that we got the documentation on how to make a stylers work, I'm excited. So that's good. But I think this is a good. So I like to stream Python for like an hour and a half beginning. In the beginning of my stream. Joe, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. Where are my alerts? My alerts didn't come through. That's a broken alert. Oh, I had them turned off from the stream last time. Because we were doing a podcast the other day. And I didn't want alerts to come through and interrupt the podcast. But we'll redo that. Now it should come through. There we go. Thank you for that follow, Cass. I appreciate it. Welcome in. I really appreciate that. So what I like to do is I like to stream an hour and a half of Python before I actually start into my gaming. I find it splits up the channel a little bit. I get to educate people who might be interested in coding, get educate themselves, and then and meet new people across the stream as well. I'm just tired of gaming for like 3-4 hours on stream, so I'm just trying to use streaming as a different outlet to provide education, learn myself, and hopefully teach back the community as what I'm learning. So as my goal to do with my streams every hour and a half before I switch over to my game. So being 8 o'clock, I am probably gonna, yeah, it's been an hour and a half. Yeah, swap over to some Hell Metal Slinger and go slay some demons.